The transmission crackled through the quantum communication array, its digital voice carrying the weight of what the Zeltharian Empire believed to be a momentous declaration. Ambassador Chen Wei-Ming sat in his modest office aboard Harmony Station, sipping his morning tea as the alien's words echoed through the speakers. After careful deliberation, the Zeltharian High Council hereby declares war upon the human species. Your millennium of pacifist deception ends now. We will not be fooled by your false weakness any longer. Chen nearly choked on his tea, not from fear but from trying to suppress his laughter. He quickly composed himself and activated the return transmission, his weathered face adopting the diplomatic neutrality he'd perfected over decades of service. Esteemed Zeltharian Council, he began, his voice carrying just a hint of amusement. We acknowledge your declaration. However, I feel compelled to inform you that humanity has not engaged in active warfare for exactly 1,043 years, 7 months and 16 days. Perhaps there has been some misunderstanding. The response came swiftly, the Zeltharian commander's voice dripping with what humans had learned to recognize as their species' equivalent of righteous indignation. Your deception runs deep, humans. We have studied your ancient archives. We know what you are capable of. The galaxy whispers stories of your world wars and your nuclear age. We will not allow you to hide behind your peaceful facade while you plot our destruction. Chen leaned back in his chair, a genuine smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. He activated his personal communicator and patched in Director Sarah Okafor from the Terran Defense Archives, knowing she would find this conversation fascinating from a historical perspective. Director Okafor, he said as her hologram materialized beside his desk. We have a situation. The Zeltharians have just declared war on humanity because they believe we're secretly preparing to conquer the galaxy. Sarah, a tall woman with graying hair and laugh lines earned from decades of studying human military history, raised an eyebrow. They think we're what now? Apparently, they've discovered our old historical records and believe our 1,000 years of peace is an elaborate deception. Sarah burst into laughter, the sound carrying clearly through the still open transmission to the Zeltharian fleet. Oh, this is rich. Commander, she addressed the alien directly. May I ask which historical periods you've been studying? We have obtained records of your World War II, your Vietnam conflict, and your resource wars of 2157. The Zeltharian replied, his tone suggesting he believed he was revealing humanity's darkest secrets. We know of your weapons of mass destruction, your strategic brilliance, your warrior culture. The galaxy will not fall to your expansion as your own planet once did. Chen and Sarah exchanged glances, both struggling to maintain their composure. Sarah cleared her throat and leaned toward the transmission array. Commander, I appreciate your thoroughness in researching our history. However, I think you may have misunderstood the context of those records. World War II ended over 1,400 years ago. The resource wars were our last actual military conflict, and they concluded with the Treaty of New Geneva in 2158. Since then, we've had exactly 0 wars. Impossible, the Zeltharian snapped. No species abandons warfare completely. It goes against all evolutionary logic. Chen took another sip of his tea, savoring both the flavor and the absurdity of the situation. Commander, perhaps I could offer you some perspective. My great-great-grandfather was a historian who specialized in what we call the war period of human history, roughly from the dawn of civilization until the mid-22nd century. During those years, humans were indeed quite enthusiastic about warfare. We were very good at it, perhaps too good. He paused, watching the confusion ripple through the alien fleet's formation on his tactical display. Their ships were arranged in what appeared to be an aggressive battle formation, though it looked almost quaint compared to the defensive arrays that protected human space. Systems designed not for conquest, but for deflecting asteroids and managing space debris. But here's what you may not understand about humans, Commander. We don't abandon things because we're bad at them. We abandon things because we're too good at them. We had a saying during our war period, war is hell. We discovered that hell was something we excelled at creating, and we decided we didn't want to be the galaxy's demons. Sarah nodded, pulling up a holographic display of human military statistics. Commander, at our peak military efficiency, humans could deploy weapons capable of sterilizing entire planets. We had strategic doctrines that could have conquered most of the known galaxy within 50 years. We were, as you correctly identified, very good at war. Then why do you not conquer? The Zeltharian asked, and for the first time Chen detected uncertainty in the alien's voice. Because, Chen replied gently, we learned something that apparently your species hasn't yet discovered. There's a difference between being capable of something and wanting to do it. We grew tired of being afraid of ourselves. He stood and walked to the observation window, gazing out at the peaceful expanse of space where human and alien ships routinely conducted trade, shared scientific research, and celebrated cultural exchanges. Commander, in the past 1,000 years, humanity has terraformed 17 worlds, established peaceful relations with 43 different species, and contributed to galactic civilization in ways our warlike ancestors could never have imagined. We've written poetry, composed symphonies, and built gardens on moons. We've learned that creation is far more satisfying than destruction. The transmission fell silent for several long minutes. Chen could see the Zeltharian fleet on his scanners, their ships holding formation but no longer advancing. Finally, the alien commander's voice returned, quieter now. But, your military capabilities? Sarah chuckled. Oh, we still remember how to fight. Every human child learns military history, not to glorify war but to understand why we chose peace. Our shipyards could retool for military production within months if necessary. Our citizens could mobilize with efficiency that would terrify our ancestors. But Commander, why would we want to? Chen returned to his seat, finishing his tea with a satisfied sip. Commander, I have a proposal. Instead of declaring war, why don't you send a diplomatic envoy to Earth? We'll show you our museums, our art galleries, our parks. We'll share our history, all of it, including the parts we're not proud of. And then perhaps you'll understand why a species that could conquer the galaxy chooses instead to tend gardens. The silence stretched longer this time. When the Zeltharian commander finally responded, his tone had changed completely. Ambassador Chen, we withdraw our declaration of war. We would very much like to see these gardens you speak of. Chen smiled, already composing the diplomatic invitation in his mind. After all, humans had become quite good at peace too.